Hello friends, welcome back to Nijmo's History. Today in this lecture we are going to see about the preamble of the Constitution of India. Through watching this full video, definitely you will get a detailed idea about our preamble. That's why it will be very useful for you. You can subscribe and share and support my channel. Okay? Then let's start today's class. Okay. The American Constitution was the first to be begin with the preamble. After that, many countries including India followed this practice. The term preamble, what is the meaning of the term preamble? The term preamble refers to the introduction or the preface to the Constitution. It contains the summary or essence of the Constitution. N.A. Palkhiwala, who was an eminent jurist and a constitutional expert, called the preamble as the identity card of the Constitution. From this we can see the importance of the preamble in the Constitution. Okay. Then before starting the detailed explanation about our preamble, I have to discuss some important points you can remember. Okay, the first one is that our preamble is mainly based on the objective resolution. What is the objective resolution? Objective resolution was drafted and moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th December 1946 and adopted by Constituent Assembly. Okay, our preamble is based on this objective resolution. Clear? Then another important point is after making of the Constitution, our preamble has amended only once by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. By this act, three new words added to our preamble, that is socialistic, secular and integrity. Clear? Okay, let us start the current present form of the preamble. You can see in the screen the present form of our preamble. Okay. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice for social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. This is the current form of our Constitution. This have four parts. The first one is the people of India. We the people of India. The second one is the nature. The nature is some keywords like the sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic and republic. Third one is the goals of constitution makers like the justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. The last one is the date of the adoption. Okay, clear? Then we are going to discuss about these keywords in detail. Okay. The first important word is the sovereignty. What is the meaning of the word sovereign? Sovereign means, the independent. After the 1947, India was independent. And India was not a dependency or a dominion of any other nation, but an independent state. There is no authority above it and it is free to conduct its own affairs, both internal and external. Okay. That is the simple meaning of the term sovereign. Okay. Then, being a sovereign state, India can either acquire a foreign territory or cede a part of its territory in favor of a foreign state. You can remember this point also. Clear? Then, the next important word is socialist. I told you before, the socialist is term was added by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Okay, you can remember this point of view of prelims. Okay, that is very important. Then the constitution had some socialistic content in the form of certain directive principles of state policy. But in 1976, in the preamble, the socialistic words added by this Amendment Act. Okay, but here you can remember one important thing is that this Indian socialist principle is not like the communistic socialistic principles of Karl Marx. It is entirely different from that communistic socialism. You can see the difference. In the communistic socialism have no private ownership. Each and every property is on the hands of the government. But we adopted the democratic pattern of socialism. In this socialism, we have faith in mixed economy, and the private players and public players have equal importance, and they are coexist side by side. That is the difference between the communist socialism and democratic socialism. You can remember this. Okay. Then our constitution is also the blend of both. Have some principles of communistic socialism and also have some principles of Gandhism. Okay, that's why this is the blend of the Gandhism and Marxism. Okay, you can remember this point also. That is very important. Okay, then clear. Okay, we have to go to the next point. The next point is secular. This term also added by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. What is the meaning of secularism? Actually, for our country, this secularism is very important. We can see our country have a lot of different type of religions. That's why the secularism principle is very important for us. Then you can see some our constitution secures the secularism. You can see the articles 25 to 28. That's guaranteeing some freedom of religion. We will discuss about that in the coming class in that chapter of fundamental right. Okay, nothing to worry about this. Okay, then here you can remember one important point. Our secularist concept is a positive type of secularism. It is not like the Western concept of negative secularism. Okay, our secularism is the mode of positive concept. Okay, what is this? Actually, in Indian constitution embodies the positive secularism in our country, irrespective of their strength. Have each and every religion have the same status and support from the state. There is no priority for any particular religion. Okay, clear? Okay, we have to go next important point, the democratic. Democratic. India is a democratic country, you know. Democratic polity means a stipulated preamble. Actually, it is based on the doctrine of popular sovereignty, that is the possession of supreme power by the people. Actually, in world have two type of democracy. One is the direct and the other is indirect. In this direct democracy, the people exercise their supreme power directly. For example, in Switzerland is the example of this type of direct democracy. Then, but in the indirect democracy, on the other hand, the representatives elected by the people exercise the supreme power and thus carry on the government and make the laws. That is the difference between the direct and indirect democracy. Okay, our country adopted the type of indirect democracy, that is also known as representative democracy. Clear? Okay. Then the another important point is the republic. Actually, in our history class, I told you before in the chapter of Mahajanapadas about the two types of democratic policy can be classified into two types. One is the monarchy and the other is republic. You know what is the difference between the monarchy and republic? Okay. Okay, in a monarchy, the head of the state head of the state is like a king or a queen, enjoys a hereditary position. That is, he comes into office through succession. For example, in Britain, yes, queens. Okay, but in a republic, the head of the state is always elected directly or indirectly for a fixed period. For example, in USA. Okay, USA have elected head, but in UK have hereditary head. That is the difference. Okay, but our country adopted republic. We have elected head. Okay, then a republic also means two more things. You can remember this. One, vesting of the political sovereignty in the people and not in a single individual like a king. Second, the absence of any privileged class and hence all public offices being open to every citizen without any discrimination. Okay, can you understand about the meaning of the term republic? Okay, our country adopted the republic. That's why India is a republic country. Okay, now we already completed these 5 keywords in the nature of the preamble. And then I'm going to see about the goals of constitutional makers, some words like justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Okay, the first important is the justice. Justice. The term justice in preamble embraces 3 distinct forms. Actually, it guarantees for each and every citizen social, economic and political justice. But how this justice being implemented? Actually, this just social and economic political justice secured through various provisions of fundamental rights and directive principles. Okay. Then we have to see about the what is the social justice and what is the economic justice and the political justice. Okay, what is the social justice? Social justice means the equal treatment of all citizens without any social distinction based on caste, color, race, religion, sex and so on. Okay, absence of privilege. That is the meaning of social justice. Then regarding the economic justice, the non-discrimination between the people on the basis of economic factors. The non-discrimination between the people on the basis of economic factors. Okay. It involves the elimination of glaring inequalities in wealth, income and property. Okay. Then you have to remember one point also. A combination of social justice and economic justice denotes what is known as distributive justice. You can remember this term, distributive justice. Okay, that is very important. Then regarding the political justice. Political justice means that all citizens should have equal political right. In our country, all citizens have equal political right, equal access to all political offices and equal voice in the government. There is no discrimination in the political affairs. Okay. Then another important point is that this concept of the ideal of justice, social, economic and political has been taken from the Russian Revolution of 1917. This is very important. In our constitution taken different provisions from different constitutions of the world. We will discuss about that in the sources of the constitution. Okay, nothing to worry about that. Now you can remember this point. The ideal of justice, social, economic and political has been taken from the Russian Revolution 1917. Okay. Then the next important point is liberty. But here liberty means, what is the meaning of liberty? And here have some important points. That is, Actually, in our country, liberty does not mean license to do what one likes, but and has to be enjoyed within some limitations mentioned in the Constitution itself. Clear? Okay. Then our Constitution guarantees our preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, their own religious practices without any burden. Okay, but this will secure through the implementation of some fundamental rights and enforceable in court of law in case of violation. Okay, clear? Then we have to go about we have to see about the equality. What is the meaning of the term equality? The term equality means the absence of special privileges to any section of society. Okay, equality means the absence of special privileges to any section of society. That is, this provision adequate opportunity for all citizens without any discrimination. That is the meaning of equality. For securing this equality, we have some right regarding equality. Article 14 to 18 guarantees some rights, the right to equality. We will discuss about that in that chapter. Okay. Then this also will implement through the fundamental rights and some directive principles. You can remember this point also. Then another important word is fraternity. Actually, the fraternity means the sense of brotherhood. We can see in our country have a lot of different diversities. Actually, have different cultures, different cultural group, different language group, different religious group and different ethnic group. That's why the brotherhood is very essential factor for the secure of our nation. That's why this fraternity is very important. Actually, the Constitution promotes this feeling of fraternity by the, you can remember this point, this is very important. I told you before in that chapter about the single citizenship. Actually, this single citizenship promotes the feeling of fraternity because in our country each and every people have the only one single citizenship. There is no double citizenship. Okay. Then our fundamental duties of India also promote the harmony and common brotherhood. We not only have some fundamental right, but also have some fundamental duties for our nation. This also promotes the fraternity in our country. The one important thing is, you can remember that actually the preamble declares that fraternity has to assure two things: the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Here, the word integrity has been added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, you can remember this. Socialistic, secular and integrity. These three words added by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Okay, this is very important for your prelims. Okay, then now we completed this chapter of the preamble, and then in the next class we will discuss another important chapter, and we will see in the next class. Okay, bye.